Hi everybody, GT here from GT's Barbecue. Hey, it's Friday night. I'm getting ready for the big game on Sunday. I'm gonna prep up some meat. Here I have about 20 pounds of pork shoulder, pork butt, Boston butt, whatever you wanna call it, it's all the same thing. A lot of people ask me why they call it pork butt if it doesn't come from the butt. And the truth is the history goes back to Boston. And they used to, when they shipped these, they would put them in wooden containers called butts. So they've often been called Boston butts, but it's a pork shoulder, so it's all the same thing. So I'm going to season these up tonight with a couple of seasonings that were given to me by friends. This is from Kent, Daddy Dutch Barbecue. Kent, thank you. This is called Sweet Heat. It's quite spicy. So I'm going to see how it comes out on a pork butt. A pork butt is a fairly bland, lean piece of meat that can take a lot of seasoning. So I'm going to give that a try. And this is from another friend of mine, Greg, ex-restaurant owner and quite the chef. He's been working on this rub for quite a few years. So I'm going to give that a try on the other one. So thanks, Greg, for that. So stay tuned. I'm not going to go through the whole process of trimming these things up. There's not much to do. Basically, just trim off any fat that you don't want to eat. So stay tuned. I'll be right back, and we'll get these things prepped. Okay, I've got these things rinsed. They required very little trim. I just took off a little bit of the fat, some of the silver skin, but for the most part, fat is flavor, and you need fat for these, and it's real easy to take out when you pull it. So I'm going to leave this just as it is. I'm going to get these things seasoned up here for a binder. Something to help the rubs stick. I'm going to use a little bit of mustard, not too much, but this is going to help create a nice bark, and you really won't taste the mustard in the finished product. And I have a clean hand and a dirty hand, so as much as possible, because I don't want to contaminate these shakers, I want to keep a hand clean. And one of the things about getting a pork butt that doesn't have the bone in it, well, for one, you're not paying for the weight of the bone. And for another, you can see where the bone was there, and you can get seasoning down in there. So that's always a plus. The more seasoning, the better. A little bit on the back side. I am going to cook these fat cap down, because the heat from my smoker comes from the bottom, and this will help protect that. And I'll probably cook these for, I don't know, about 4 or 5 hours at 225. So there's butt number one. I like pork butts, and I cannot lie. Okay, so I'm going to start with the tops. One of these is a little bit bigger. The total weight was 20 pounds for two, but I can tell this one's a little bit larger. And with both of these, I'm going to start with some of my salt, pepper, garlic. You really need to be careful with your spices. It's really easy. Sorry, you can't really see that. It's really easy to overdo it, but with a big piece of meat like this is all going to get blended in anyway. So we just kind of go around, pat this in. Once again, salt, pepper, garlic. I use this base layer on just about everything that I cook. We have our salt, pepper, garlic on that one. I actually froze these. I bought these a couple of weeks ago on sale at Costco, and I took them out. Tonight's Friday night. I took them out Tuesday, and they're thawed, but they're still a little crunchy inside, so make sure you give yourself plenty of time for the meat to thaw. Okay, so there's the homemade salt, pepper, garlic. Now I'm going to go with Kent's Daddy Dutch Barbecue Sweet Heat Rub. This is going to be spicy. I'm going to do this on it's a little bit smaller one. We're just going to go along here. Get it down inside. Oops. all the nooks and crannies. And you don't really need to rub. Just kind of pat it in. It'll stay on there just fine with that binder. And if a little bit of that gets on here, I'm not worried about it. It's all good. Kent, once again, thank you for this. I have a feeling this is going to be really good on pork. Pat, pat, pataroo. Technical term. Okay, that's about where I want it. And for the other one, I'm going to go with Greg's custom barbecue rub. He won't give me the ingredients to this. I have no idea what's in it, but I do know there's not a lot of salt. So I may go just a little bit more liberal with this. Like that. Once again, open it up. Get it inside. Get it on the bottom. And again, once this gets pulled, all this goodness is going to blend in with the cooked meat. So that's looking pretty good. That's about what I want. I'm going to let these sit and let those flavors soak in for, I don't know, probably 30 minutes or so. I'm going to take them out, get them in the fridge. And I'm going to use my Rectech pellet smoker for these because we have to leave the house tomorrow for a few hours. And I want something I can just set and forget and not have to worry about the flame. So you can see there's a little bit of difference in color here. I guarantee there's going to be a little difference in flavor. So I think that's beautiful. We'll get these started. I'm going to have some cooking fluid. That's an essential part of any cook. And I'll get these things on a plate, and I'll come back and give you a little shot of these before I put them in the fridge. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, these guys have been sitting here now for about 30 minutes. I have a sweet hot, more of a spicy rub on this one from Daddy Dutch, Kent. I'll put the link down below for that. And this one's from my buddy Greg. A little bit difference in color, a little bit difference in texture and flavor. So I'm going to put these in the fridge overnight, uncovered. And I may go ahead and season these a little bit more when I put them on the grill in the morning. We'll see how they look. So stay tuned. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Okay, good morning, everybody. It's 5 a.m. Feeling great. Let's get these bad boys on. I have Angus fired up to 250 degrees. I'm going to put these on, and I'm not even going to look at them for about 4 hours. And hopefully the bark will be set by then. We'll give it the scratch test, and I'll come back and we'll see what we get. Okay, it's been a total of 4 hours now. I'm going to take a peek at these guys. Oh yeah, they're looking good. They smell amazing. That's the color I'm looking for, that nice mahogany color. I scratch the bark, and that's kind of the test I use. You kind of scratch it with your finger a little bit, and if it doesn't come off, you know it's ready. And this is the time I want to go ahead and get them wrapped. So I'm going to put a temp probe in each one of these to give me an idea where they are. I'll check them for tenderness by hand. Once they get about 205, I'll start checking them. One of these is clearly bigger than the other, so it's probably going to take a little bit longer. So we'll get these probes plugged in here and get started on the wrap. I usually like to put some kind of liquid in, not a lot. Today I'm using about a cup and a half of vegetable broth and about a quarter cup of Cosmos Q pork injection. I didn't inject these, but you can kind of see on contact that liquid starts to soak into that meat. I didn't spritz these. Again, they've been on for 4 hours, so I'm just going to give them a little bath here, not very much, and we'll get them wrapped and get the process started. So I always double wrap these. It just helps keep the liquid in. There's no magic to it. I'm just trying to get the foil nice and tight so that we don't get a lot of steam in there, because that can soften that nice bark we just did. So and then I'm going to turn it the other way. As you can see, it didn't completely close, but once I put this other piece on, it'll get it nice and sealed up. It takes these things quite a while. I don't know, I'm guessing 8, 9 hours, 10 hours maybe, depending on how things go. The Rectech's been set at 250 degrees this whole time. I didn't touch it. I don't plan to touch it. So that's the larger of the two, and I'll get the first probe in on that side. One of the things I like about this Rectech is it has a port for 2 different probes. So I could be doing a brisket, I could be doing a chicken, I could be doing any 2 meats at the same time. Kind of handy. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour this on. Again, just a nice light bath, not a lot. You don't want a whole lot in there. Man, I wish you could smell that. That thing smells amazing. And then just like before, we're going to wrap it once, get it all nice and tight, and turn it around sideways and wrap it again. There we go. Get this guy on there, right back in the same orientation and position that he was before. Will, I don't know, probably take a few hours. I'll come back and just kind of keep an eye on it. But actually, I have a Bluetooth, so I can check the temp on my phone. So we'll keep tabs on these, and we'll see you here in a bit. Okay, these were on the smoker for 9 hours, and I rested them for 1 hour. So I actually just set them on a plate, wrapped them in a towel. And I like to use these glove liners when I'm working with something hot like this. So we're going to take a look at this. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this and bore everybody, but I want to get the first one done and then rinse, lather, repeat on the other. Bark stayed nice and firm. And again, these are hot. So make sure you use some kind of an insulated glove. I'm going to put this in our pan. I guess that's tender enough. And I like to make a little indentation in my foil. See if I can't salvage the au jus. Oh my goodness, that smells good. And there you go. So I'll put that in a separator here in a little bit. And as far as the pork goes, it's going to have some fat on the bottom, and one of the reasons I like to use my hands is you can really feel it. Oh man, this is just disintegrating. That is amazing. So there's a little bit of that fat, and it just comes right off. And I just kind of set it off to the side. Look at that. That is beautiful. Oh man. Yeah, it's literally just melting in my hands. This is the one I seasoned with Kent's rub from Daddy Dutch Barbecue. Kent, thanks a lot for that. I cannot wait to dig in and give this a try. So you can see that's what you're looking for. We've got that bark on there. That's going to break up. The little bits are going to mix in with the meat. Really, there isn't a whole lot of fat on this one. Dang, not too bad. Just kind of squeeze it, and it just pulls apart. Oh my goodness. And that's really all there is to it. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? And that's about it. So not much more to it. I'm not going to make you watch me pull the other one. I'll get this spread out in the pan, pick through some of this fat, and make it look pretty. And I'll be right back, and we'll take a little taste and see what we think of these 2 rubs. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, here we go. I have these 2 pork butts all pulled, ready to go. I have to say they are literally melt in your mouth, fall apart tender. I couldn't be happier. I have one seasoned with Daddy Dutch's Hot Sweet rub and one with Greg's Custom Barbecue rub. So I'm going to give a couple of these a try. I want to make sure I get some bark in there. This would be Daddy Duck. Oh man. I cannot tell you how tender that is. And that sweet heat, it isn't as spicy as I expected, but man, it just has a really good flavor. Because pulled pork can be bland. So, awesome job on that. Greg, this isn't a competition. Oh wow. Again, just as much flavor, not quite as hot, but sorry I'm calling it a tie. Thank you both so much for that rub. This is going to go down to the Super Bowl tomorrow, so I'm going to get it back in the fridge. Thanks so much for watching. If you're so inclined, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And stay safe, and I'll see you next time.